Hello and welcome to The Villain Was Right, the podcast where we look at movies and TV shows from the villain's perspective and dare to ask, were they really all that bad? I'm your host, Craig Fay.
And I'm your host, Rebecca Reeds.
And this week on the podcast, we are covering the much requested Bullet Train.
Bullet Train.
Pew pew. It's bullets, you know. I don't know.
Pew pew.
I can't say, but anyway, I'm a finger gun kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like an ironic finger gun kind of guy. We're already off the rails.
I'm just so happy you ended that with gun. I was like, there's a little hang time on that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
We're getting crazy already. Okay.
Yeah, but you enjoyed this movie?
Yes, I had seen it before.
You had seen it before,
Yes,
okay.
I had watched it once with my parents.
Great.
And so when it was requested so much, I was like, absolutely, this movie's just villains.
Yes.
So you want to watch
all the way through?
You want to watch everybody be a villain? Fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's a fun one. And like what I had sort of seen this movie before, but I realized that as I was like watching it the second time, that I'd only seen it like as I walked in and out of the room as Kat was watching it, and like I was like, oh, is that like, who is this? Why are they doing that? Blah blah blah. Like just the absolute worst way to watch a movie.
Oh yeah.
And came out of it being like, well, I mean, that was okay. It's like, but when I actually
That thing I didn't pay attention to at all was mediocre.
okay. Yeah, and then when I actually sat down, I was like, oh no, this all works. This is fun. This is a really fun.
Oh,
one.
I think it's a good action movie. I don't think it's gonna like fucking. I don't think it's gonna blow your absolute hair back, but I think it's a really fun, quality action movie.
Yeah, agree 100%.
A lot of great characters, a lot of actors.
Yeah. Little cameos here and there.
Cameos, the fight scenes are awesome. Like the little cutaway, like it's got a great sense of humor to it. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's great.
Great. And guys, if you have not seen Bullet Train, basically the premise is we've got. This is going to be a real quick recap, which is basically there are a whole bunch of assassins, and they all end up on this same bullet train in Japan. They're sort of after a suitcase and also after this guy's son. And as the movie goes on, there's lots of fight scenes and everything, and we all find out that they are sort of all related together, and it's slowly revealed. And I'll basically just give you the revealed version of this, which is that there is a guy who has climbed to the top of the Japanese crime syndicates. He's rumored to be like a Russian that came in, and he rose through the ranks and then killed the main boss and took over, and he's called the White Death. And these two other assassins on the train have been tasked with recovering the White Death's son, and as well as the suitcase full of the ransom money. And the son ends up dying. The suitcase ends up being stolen by Brad Pitt, who is Ladybug, his codename's Ladybug. He's there to steal the case. He's kind of like this like hippie guy who's in therapy and just trying to be like chill and everyone's friend. And the two assassins who are trying to get the son are Tangerine and Lemon, who I love. They're great.
No, they're perfection.
They're great.
Love
I think
them.
it's their movie, honestly. It should have been their movie.
Yes, 100%. I would have watched like 10 more scenes with those guys. They're awesome.
Yes, and there's also an assassin on there called the Hornet, and she kills people by poisoning them with a snake that makes you bleed from your eyes. And then there's the Wolf, who's like this, like I don't know, like a Mexican, like he's in like a wedding suit and like has a big knife guy. And it turns out and then there's also a young girl named Prince. Who she explains why her name is Prince. It's like a nickname, and she's kind of like manipulating everybody. There's like the father, Kamirai, whose son is in the hospital. He's been pushed off a roof, and he's come to like find the person who pushed the son off the roof. That turns out to be Prince. Prince ends up to be the daughter of the White Death. And here's how it all comes together, which is that the White Death had his own son killed. The two, Lemon and, I keep wanting to say Lemon and Cranberry because that's like my favorite muffin. Anyway. Lemon and Tangerine were the guys who pulled the job that brought him away. Mm-hmm. His wife got assassinated because he wasn't there because he was responding to that. Yeah. Turns out it's Brad Pitt's character who was the one who hit him in the car, but not really because Brad Pitt's in for another guy today. Like it's a whole I shouldn't have been in today thing. And then the Hornet poisoned the cardiac surgeon who could have saved his wife, and the Hornet. Oh, I forget what the wolf did. Anyway, they're all somehow responsible for killing the White Death's wife. The movie ends with Chimera's father showing up, who turned out to be the guy that was displaced or whatever by the White Death. There's like a samurai sword fight. The White Death dies. There's a big train crash.
Yeah.
There we go. I think I hit it all.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
For so many interwoven things.
You did that so much better than I would have done it. Yes. No notes. You did it great.
A little behind the scenes. Sometimes we switch.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we're like, Greg, do you want to handle this?
Yeah, like I can't handle it today.
and vice versa, right?
Yes, absolutely. Well, sometimes one of us has watched the movie a bunch, and it's like, well, it just makes more sense.
Be the one
yes,
to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this was your first like real watch.
Yeah.
And you loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like, honestly, it was just like, oh no, I had fun sitting down to watch this.
For sure. And it had like every element I love in an action movie, which is really what I'm here for when I'm watching an action movie, right? Like I even like the little cuts of like the water bottle. Where it's like bringing in the movie really introduces each character with kind of like a title card. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, the water bottle's going to do something. So we're going to watch this water bottle's journey to this place, which is, I just think, awesome and fun.
Yeah. And it's sort of like as they introduce more characters, they kind of backtrack and show how they fit into the puzzle that's going on. Like,
yes.
Like the wolf, they're like, okay, 26 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it ends with his wife being murdered at the thing, at his wedding.
Also, my favorite thing in action movies is like dumb violence. Like when it's dumb, like that's my
Oh, like throwing a water bottle at someone's head?
Yes, perfect. Or like, I don't know if you caught this one because I actually didn't catch it the first time I watched it. And this time I fucking scream laughed. When Lemon and Tangerine are rescuing the son, like what the kidnapped son, and they throw him in that wheelbarrow, and then they throw him out of the wheelbarrow to trip some of the guys to shoot. I didn't catch that the first time, and I fucking scream laughed. I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. The man you're saving, you just throw him at the guys.
And also, I just love that as they're having an argument of how many people they killed. And they're going through and being like, the two guys in the thing, the guy on the motorcycle. It was like, see, at 16, he goes, you didn't forget about like the innocent bystander. He's like, well, that wasn't our fault.
The car exploded. What were you supposed to do?
But honestly, like I do, like they're all villains, but I feel like Lemon and Tangerine, it should have been their movie. Like it's Brad Pitt and Ladybug are presumably the main character in this because that's who we're kind of following. But I thought their story was way more interesting from their point of view.
Yes.
Which is they've got this job to bring back this guy and his ransom money that's been paid. And then that guy turns up dead and the money goes missing. And it's like, oh, everything's going wrong for them. Who took their money? Who killed the guy?
Yeah.
Like everything that's happening to them is what drives
And the man that hired them is kind of the man that is orchestrating all of these bad things happening. It's like, well, is my son okay? And it's like, well, no, he's not. Because you literally hired somebody.
Yeah, and sorry, I don't know if that came through in my synopsis. At the end, it turns out that the White Death had hired all of these people to be on the same train under the hopes that they would just wipe each other out. Including his son. But his daughter, he wasn't expecting to be there, which is like the wrinkle in the plan or whatever.
Although I will say, like, I'm going to jump around a bunch, but I will say this. The only thing, like, upon rewatch of this movie, and I'm like, all right, don't look at it too close. Like, don't worry about it. But I'm like, why wouldn't you, if I'm your daughter, why wouldn't I just wrap that thing around a gun early? Probably have an easier opportunity to blow you the fuck up somewhere.
Yeah.
I know where you live.
True. Oh, because she rigs the gun.
She rigs the gun to like blow it. Like, and I think it's like it's supposed to be like I've outsmarted you in this grand way.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. That's not how a good business bitch gets things done.
Yeah.
Quick and dirty.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, right? So her her whole motivation through all of this was like, I pushed the kid off the roof because that's the only way I could get you here.
Yeah.
So it gets I'm just gonna refer to him as the father because like that's how he's like introduced.
Like the title card of it. Yeah.
The father and the
elder
and the elder. Yeah. So it's like, that's how I'm gonna get you here. You're gonna try and kill the White Death, and then you're gonna fail. Mm-hmm. And because he always kills the people who try and kill him with their own weapon, I've booby trapped your weapon to blow his head off when he pulls the trigger.
Yes.
And so like, but her motivation for that, doing all that, is like, I'm the one who you should have paid attention to. I was the one who should have followed in your footsteps as this like, criminal mastermind.
The problem is her father's a misogynist.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, probably.
Yeah,
like, let's not attribute too many good qualities to this mass murderer. But what I will say is, like, when he sees
Well, is that a good quality?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying anyway, being a misogynist is a bad quality.
Yes.
I'm talking backwards. I don't even know what I'm saying. When he sees her there, he's just like, oh, well, you're not supposed to be part of this, which is him getting all of his enemies together so they all kill each other. And he doesn't kill her right away either. I think he does want her to follow in his footsteps. That's why he killed the son. That's why he didn't involve her in the plan.
Nah.
Let's hear it.
I don't know. Well, no, I'm just kidding. Like, you don't have that kind of hate in your heart out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, I think she had a lot of disdain for her father.
Fair.
Okay, and yes. I don't think that's because he was like putting her through training or what. She kind of had this like, she had a real self-starter vibe to me.
True.
I don't think Daddy was holding her hand through anything. I don't think he had any.
He wasn't going
real purpose, or any real idea of what, like, she was going to take over, or be a part of the family business.
That's
or whatever.
True. Yeah, and you're right.
I didn't get that sense.
And a guy who gets that upset about the death of his wife. Not saying you shouldn't be upset with the death of your wife, but like, oh, this is my whole identity now. Like, I hide away in a bunker because my wife died in a car accident. I keep everything super close because my wife died,
Although, I
formulate whole revenge plans because my wife died. Maybe doesn't think of women as people, like he's like, here's the thing that was taken from me.
Oh yeah. I understand what you're saying. I also, his son is the worst, though.
Oh yeah,
the worst, and I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying if I am a crime boss, and my son is that shitty, I understand these motivations.
You gotta get him out of the picture. He's a liability.
Just the worst.
And here's my defense of the White Death.
Wow. Okay.
Which is
coming hot.
Also, Michael Shannon, fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's really good. He's got great evil eyes. You know what I mean? Like when he does the
just resting villain face. That guy, love him
a little bit.
But here's my defense: all of these people are bad people.
Yes, absolutely.
He bought out the train, and he was like, all of these people have somehow wronged me through their careers as hired assassins. So, okay, we're all killers here.
Yeah.
Right? There's no innocent civilians on the train. There's no...
He bought out the tickets.
He bought out the tickets. He was just like, let's put these scorpions in a box, shake them up, and see what happens. So really, you got to ask yourself, like, he's killing for vengeance, and they're killing for money. And I think that the vengeance is a little more motivated in this, where you go, you did kill my wife. You tried to assassinate me. You did this because somebody else hired you to do that. I'm just gonna be done with you. I think that is, like, as far as the ethics of their industry go, that's fine.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm a petty person. Okay. Love a little kiss of petty. And I truly believe that, because like there's this through line of like, oh, like luck and karma and all this kind of stuff. And genuinely, I just kind of believe that petty people and people that believe in karma are actually the same people. It's just petty people believe they are the karma.
Interesting. Go
You know what I mean?
more. No, give me more. Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so like people that believe in karma believe in like balance of universe, right? Like you did something bad, so something bad's going to happen to you. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
a petty person.
The white.
Well, you will do
woman
something bad to
karma.
me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously. Yes. No, we're not deep cutting here. What do you deep cut? What do you do? Explain it to me better, Craig.
No. Sorry, I'm just yeah. Continue.
Anyway, point being is that petty people, they'll have something bad done to them or happen to them or whatever, and they'll go, well, that's going to come back to you in the form of me.
You're the agent of the karma.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to wait for the universe to balance
I am
this
the
out.
universe.
Yeah, this isn't going to happen over many lifetimes in many worlds. This is happening now.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
I think this is just on a little petty mission. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Let's get them all.
So you're saying that because she's like, well, that his unluckiness is just like other people being petty.
What, like Brad Pitt's unluckiness?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually really want to talk about this. I'm glad you brought this up. Brad Pitt is so fucking lucky. It's stupid.
The actor? Yeah, he's kind of made it well.
No, sorry, Ladybug.
Okay, his character.
And I thought, like, I through watching the movie, I was like, oh, are they doing this as like an ironic bit or whatever? Because it's like, no, obviously he's the luckiest person on that trait. He survives.
Yes.
Okay. Several impossible situations.
Sure.
There's a scene where it the bullet train derails, plows through a town. Okay. Brad Pitt flies through the entire train, hitting things, like things are bouncing off of him, but he's kind of like whipping through the air a little bit. He's doing like slow-mo through doors and stuff, and he hits the like plushy mascot, so it's like he made it. He's fine, and it's like, yeah, you're right. That guy's an unlucky fuck. Wow.
True.
He's so unlucky.
Well, and they've done so. Oh, I'm so glad you brought up that train crash. But first, I'll say about. Let's get back to that.
Okay.
But first, what I'll say about luck is, I'll mention this to anybody who listens, which is, there was this great special that was done by a British mentalist. His name is escaping me right now, which is unfortunate. But where he basically started a rumor that patting the head of this dog statue in this small town created good luck. Right?
I know about this dog. I think I pet this dog.
Yeah, so he started this as a rumor by having just a TV crew being like, have you heard this like superstition or whatever? And then he followed the townspeople around to like test their luck and gave them like fake opportunities.
Oh, I see.
And and then like interviewed them about whether or not they felt lucky or whether petting the dog had brought them luck.
Yes.
And what he found was it's like people were given the same opportunities, but the people who considered themselves lucky were more open to the opportunities.
Well, yes.
So they were they were like looking for the things that were like, and at one point they put lottery, like scratchy lottos through like people's mail slots.
Okay.
And they were like going to win, right? Like they were set to win no matter what.
Oh, so fun.
But this one guy who was like, I'm so unlucky, would not scratch it. Like he just he just threw it out or whatever. And they finally started with this van driving around town being like, this guy's name, please call this phone number, to try and convince him to do something. Because like if he called, he'd win a bunch of money. And they were just like driving it in front of his house all day. And then he did finally call, but it like took so much for him to like notice the opportunity.
Yes.
You know? So I think that's what luck is. And I think if you're an assassin, You know?
Yes. I also think it really speaks to just like what you're looking for and what you pay attention to.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like it's if you believe you're lucky or, you know, good things always happen to you, when something good happens to you, you're going to go, oh, look at that. I'm so lucky.
Yes.
Okay. And if you believe fundamentally you have bad luck and something good happens to you, you're like, well, this is a fluke, whatever. Right. Yeah. Like you don't even, you might not even notice it as lucky. You might take that as your due for something. You're like, oh yeah, I need this because everything
It's
bad.
about time.
It's about time. You know what I mean? Whereas like if you just think you're lucky or you think you're like things are going to work out for you, generally, yeah, you're gonna see the spots in your life where you're like, well, that's so lucky and that's so lucky and that's great. And
yeah, and it's what, as you said, it's what you choose to pay attention to.
Exactly.
So if you are only paying attention to the negative things and that go bad in your life, do you really have all that many things, more things go wrong in your life than anyone else? Or are you just dwelling on them?
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And then you don't notice the dozen or so times that things are nice. But if we can very quickly, I'm sorry, just go back to the train crash.
Oh, yeah, I love your facial. You were... I started laughing so hard when that scene because I forgot. I'd forgotten about that scene.
Yeah.
So,
can you tell me what's wrong with it?
Oh.
No, because this is like such like this is like here's what bothers me about this. This is a science thing, okay? And this isn't just like, well, The Rock can't pull a helicopter out of the sky with his bare hands, or like, oh, a guy can't punch through a window of a bullet train. You know, like it's not that heightened. A person couldn't do that, or a person couldn't jump that far, right? Where you do this. This is something that is so contrary to lived everyday experience that I don't know how, like you don't need to be a trained scientist to know what's wrong with this. And I'm just curious how obvious it is and if you noticed it.
All I noticed was how much it was gonna piss you off.
Okay. I'll take it.
Like the entire time I was watching it, I was just like laughing so hard because I was like, Craig's gonna be pissed.
Yes.
I swear to God, that's all I
Okay.
Like, I can't,
fair enough.
I can't explain. I know visually it's wrong. Like, I know there's wrong things happening here, but all I kept thinking about was how angry you're going to be.
I'm so upset with this because, like, other than that, fun movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
And you can be like, oh, yeah, you can't throw a guy or whatever. But he is in the front of the train. He is at the very, very front of the train.
Yes.
And this train crashes at 400 kilometers an hour, however fast the bullet trains go, or it was going at the time, off the track.
Yeah.
And he flies backwards
when you should
through
go,
the train.
Yeah.
You should keep going
Yeah, you should
straight.
keep going. That's why.
Yes, that's why you wear seatbelts.
Yeah,
right?
because it does. You do this.
So like you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you know that.
Yes, I do.
You know, and like it is like that's what drives me crazy. It was like everybody watching this feels that there's something wrong with the physics of that because nothing in the world has ever acted that way, right?
Yeah.
Like what should happen is the train crashes, the momentum of everybody. The train suddenly stops and you're still moving forward at 400 kilometers an hour.
Right.
And that's why you go through windshields. That's why you end up on the pavement. That's why we wear seatbelts is because the car stops and your body wants to keep going unless you hold it into the car.
So funny.
Like,
that between that and the idea that anybody could be on top of or outside this bullet train, I was scream laughing. I was like, you can't.
Yeah, but somehow that one I'm fine with because I was like, yeah, they got to be on the outside of the bullet train. That's where the exciting things happen. You know what I mean?
You need it.
You need it.
You need
like, I'll give that a pass.
We need them to ride the bullet.
Yeah, I mean it's fun out there.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like
fun.
why do you have a train going fast in a movie if someone's not going to be on the outside of it?
Fair enough.
Like an action star just looking out the window, go, "Wow, we're moving real fast, don't you think?" And then just have everything happen in this like relatively stationary train.
You're right. Yeah, it's like cool looking gun. Never gonna shoot it. No, I see what you're saying. Yes.
It's
Great point. Great point.
Chekhov's speeding train. You gotta be on it at some point. But you know what you do if you want Brad Pitt to fly through the train? You have him at the back of the train. Bam, problem solved. And then I don't care. It's ridiculous that he's flying through a train.
Yeah.
That he runs into squishies and like all the rest. But at least that makes sense
At least
physics-wise.
you're going the right direction. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh
Just
my God.
it took me out of it so much. Like
Well,
nothing
I'm sure
else in the movie did.
started scream laughing because obviously the first time I watched this, I didn't have you in mind. In the sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't watch all movies and think, what would Craig think about this?
Although the podcast
It does
do
alter,
that.
yeah, a bit. Okay, no doubt. Certain things, absolutely. And this watch made me laugh so because I was like, oh, Craig's gonna. I bet he's just peeling his own skin off right now.
Just that one part.
Yeah.
And like, oh, just such a simple fix because trains have controls at both ends a lot of the time, right?
Yes.
So like, just have him in the control at the back of the train because the one at the front's broken. Then you can have your fun little action scene. Craig never says a word. just do the Craig Fay test on all your screenplays. You know, is Craig gonna be mad about the science we do in this?
That's what you gotta ask yourself.
It's Craig, yeah.
Okay, so we have a bunch of bad guys. Who do we think's the worst? Because it's all villains, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
Who's the worst?
I don't
one?
think it's the White Death. I think the White Death is playing by the rules that they're all playing with.
Okay.
You know, and I think
right.
he's got better reasons to kill these people than they have to kill each other.
Fair enough.
Who do you say is the worst?
It's so hard to say. It just based off of pure violence, it might be the twins.
Okay.
Just because we see and hear so much about what they do, or like, you know what I mean?
Well,
We
the
see,
Bolivia job, and they're cutting people up.
yeah,
and
like
they're
there's I think we see the most violence, but yeah, I don't know. You know what? Getting a whole wedding though,
that to me, I think she's the worst.
and a surgeon.
Yes.
And okay,
Yeah, because she didn't kill the person that the surgeon was doing heart surgery on. The person was
killed the surgeon.
She killed the surgeon so that this person couldn't
Which
get
is
their
a
heart surgery.
wild choice. Then you're making a good point. Yeah, just taking out a good contributing member of society.
Yeah, and no way that whole wedding party was like, you know, to all bad people.
No,
you
that'd
know?
be.
There's
You gotta have
Cousin Ernie.
Yeah. Somebody volunteers. You know what I mean? Works down at the animal shelter, something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of the caterers grabs a little piece of that cake. You know, what a long day. They're out in the sun all day. All they want is a little sweet, you know? You know, something to bring the blood sugar back up. They've been on their feet all day, you know,
buddy.
running drinks and hors d'oeuvres and everything. Because that was a fancy looking wedding, too.
It was. I
That
get
suit.
poisoned so fast, actually. Like, now that you've brought this, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I've got my little fingies in food all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, what a little bite.
A little shrimp roll, a little of this.
Little bite, whatever. Especially when I was, like, working at, like, serving or whatever. Like, you're in that kitchen, man. Yeah, of course I'm going to grab a couple of fries.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course. Not off your plate, but, you know, there's a bowl of them here that they just keep throwing them on.
And couple didn't get onto the plate.
Yeah,
or whatever. There's
whoopsies.
they just don't fit.
Fell on the pass. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's good people at that wedding that get killed. And here's the thing. I'm not even in the world of international assassins. I don't even think poisoning is necessarily that much worse than, say, shooting somebody. I think it's probably a little more painful or whatnot.
I don't know, the blood out of the eyes.
That's
really...
crazy. But just to be doing it indiscriminately where you're like, I'm going to take out a whole wedding by doing it, that to me is like, it's got to be a precise thing. And the key is that you're not there when it goes down.
Well, I think she was.
But that's my point, right? Is you use the poison because you get to not be there when it goes down.
So
it
basically you're saying she's not good at her job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, okay.
It's just like, I've got to poison everybody to hit the target I want to hit.
Yes.
I'm still around afterwards.
Yeah, why?
You know, like use a slower acting poison for
Also,
Christ's sake. So you're gone. You're on the plane.
It killed me when she gets Brad Pitt and then Brad Pitt gets her and he's like, who only carries one antidote on them?
Yeah,
Like,
this is bad preparation.
yeah, you need to prepare yourselves. What are we doing? And I gotta say, yes, 110%.
Yeah, I'm sorry, if you're gonna be walking around with syringes filled with deadly within 30 seconds, just in your shirt pocket,
Buddy,
when we
were setting up for your engagement, I brought 2 sets of champagne flutes because the probability of me breaking a set was very high.
Yes.
Okay? And you need to be prepared.
You need to be prepared. Yeah.
And that was for...
You ever cut yourself on a fucking butter knife?
No.
Oh, like I've hooked, like, you know how there's that little part of your thumb that like sticks out a little bit, like, you know, that little pad of your thumb.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like was cleaning one and it like hooked around the butter knife, and I just like drew it across and like it cut deep and like it really hurt. And that's a butter knife. That's the most notoriously dull instrument in the world, and I have accidentally cut myself on one.
I'm just saying, they're pretty small, pack another. You know what I mean?
Oh, you should have so many of those antidotes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, she is. I think she's the worst, both by manner of death, by untargeted mass violence, and by being bad at her job for being unprepared. She is the worst.
She is bad at her job. You've really talked me into this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the wolf, the guy that was the target of her poison,
Yes.
Who didn't get enough poison, I think he's fine going on a revenge spree trying to get her.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You kill a whole wedding. Like, I'll probably...
Yeah.
I'm probably not like, well... You know, she's probably having a bad day.
Yeah.
Being a little grumpy.
I love that he still had the wine stain, too, on his...
Oh, like, didn't even change.
Yeah.
No, that's a
because
great
it turns
little
out Brad
moment.
Pitt saved his life, right? Like, he would have eaten the cake
because he bumps him. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, lucky, but unlucky, right? Depends how you look at it.
I'm telling you, somebody that survives that much stuff and that many assassins and doesn't want to be there, you're so lucky.
But also...
And it's like, well, yeah, he's not. It's like, yeah, he took the job from this other guy.
Unlucky.
I suppose that's unlucky. Who ends up being Ryan Reynolds.
Great little cameo.
For like just 5 seconds. Awesome.
Yeah.
Little Channing Tatum also.
Oh, Channing Tatum was great. It's like,
okay.
Is this a sex thing? No?
And that's another thing where I'm like, I feel like sometimes in the movie, the movie's really trying to pitch Brad Pitt is just like, this is just his job. He's a good guy, but this is just his job. And it's like, man, that one part where he gets Channing Tatum, where he's like, oh, I'll give you $200 to like wear my hat and my glasses.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, like you just paid him $200 to probably die.
Yes.
Like, if that guy doesn't take the 3 extra seconds, and I'm like, that dude's just a civilian.
Yeah, did nothing. You're just
did nothing, not a problem. But you're like, no, but I'm in therapy and I'm this good guy. And it's like, nah, not really. Because it feels like everybody else is only playing with the characters involved. And he likes to pull in other people. Like, he likes to buy a bottle of water off of a woman that's not involved here. It's just kind of like he kind of always pulls in other little people into his thing. And it's like, oh, you're putting all of these people in danger. Whereas all of the other assassins really, except for like you know what I mean? But like for on this train, all the other assassins are only dealing with the assassins.
Yeah.
They're like, we're just dealing with each other. We need the suitcase. We don't care what's happening otherwise.
Yeah, and to that point, he says at the beginning when he's talking to who turns out to be Sandra Bullock, his handler, or he goes like, I don't know, I just feel like bad luck. Like, it feels like people die even when I'm not trying to kill them. And that's why, because you're pulling these other people into your little scheme.
Yeah.
And it goes bad for them because they aren't prepared and don't know what's going on. It's like someone's trying to kill a man with the thick-rimmed glasses and a hat, and you put your thick-rimmed glasses on a hat on a random guy, and you're like, oh, not my fault he died. Like,
Yeah, sorry.
bad luck, I guess.
Sorry.
What? No.
I have he kicks rocks. He's like, I have such bad luck.
Yeah, and as Kat pointed out as we were watching this, maybe, just maybe, if you think that you chronically have bad luck, you don't become an assassin. You know, like I'm gonna say, assassin.
Yeah.
Maybe give that a miss. Electrician, don't do that either. Working at heights, no. You know, like like there are some jobs where if you have a bad luck, it doesn't kill you or totally ruin your day. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think? What are you?
If you were really,
what's your best bad luck job? Like you've got terrible luck.
You've got terrible luck, so that's a great question. Best bad luck job, like where it's low stakes. It won't matter. It's not affecting anybody's life. Like I think that's what it's got to be, right? Like you kind of got to be solo.
Yep.
I would argue, like you kind of want a solo job that's non-dangerous. And it doesn't really affect other people's lives. Well, is that is that even a job? I'm like,
yeah, I was like, oh, this person's pretty useless, actually.
Like that got dark real quick.
I guess the moral of the story is that none of us are an island, and all of our decisions affect other people in some way, which is, I think, a positive way to look at that, right?
Yes, certainly.
Like there's always a consequence to some other human. Good or bad?
What if you were in charge of like finding bad things or something? Like you had to find, you know what I mean? Like they just put like a tracker on you or something, and they're like, I don't know, go get lost, find some bad shit for us.
Oh,
go track down a natural, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
a drug sniffing dog. So you have a bad day, and you're just like, well, I guess we didn't catch him.
So funny. Yeah.
I don't know if that works, but yeah, you're right. So it's like you've got to luck into bad things happening to you.
Yeah, like that would be like it being bad luck would be. How could that be a benefit to other people? I do not know. I'm just saying.
Insurance adjuster.
That's you show up, everything just starts getting worse in front of your own eyes. You're like, I can't even. I gotta write it down in the report. It's happening right now.
Yeah, because then more stuff happens, and there's a bigger.
There's just bigger payouts.
Oh, that's it. Oh. That's the one.
Hey,
we did it.
We workshopped it. You're welcome, everyone. We're solving the world's problems. Absolutely not. Okay. So let's talk about the daughter.
Sure.
Because she's very girl boss. And I honestly think she is, I would argue, more so intended to be a villain than anybody else, in a sense. She's kind of like well, by the end we find out like almost some sort of like crime lord royalty. You know what I mean?
Which is why they call her Little Prince. Can you tell that my father wanted a son? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Probably had some sort of Sweet 16 where they all shot guns in the air or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just some sort of crime lord thing. Because she also, she does one of the more sinister things in the movie, I would argue, which is pushing a small child off of a building.
Yes, and then threatening the father with the fact that she also has an assassin there watching the kid.
Yes, which is kind of the only thing that kind of bothered me about that plot line was that if his father, so the elder, had somebody watching the entire time, then this guy didn't need to do any of this. He could have just killed her.
Yeah, he could have.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, gentlemen, like men, could we just talk for once in our lives? Talk about our feelings and communicate.
Well, and I think, though, that she did not realize that his father, the elder, was who he was.
No, I understand that.
I think she just thought she had a random mark and this guy's going to kill my father.
Yes, which is totally fine, but if the father knows that, not the elder, but if the father knows that, then the father doesn't have to go along with any of this. If he knows they're already on it.
That there's a guy there.
There's a guy there. Also, why are you waiting for the last moment? Like, why are you like, well, we're going to really make sure that he's here to kill that kid.
Could just be a big tough-looking guy standing constantly at the window of this small child with a grimace on his face, and every 10 minutes getting a phone call that's like, you know, because obviously, here's the biggest kept secret in the world. Everyone can hear your cell phone conversation. Right? Yeah. So here's this, you know, absolute unit of a man.
That's right.
Has henchmen written all over him.
Yes.
And every 10 minutes he gets a phone call being like, don't kill the kid yet. Okay, boss.
Yes. It's like if that woman was there the whole time, just kind of like, I don't need you to tip your hand, man. Like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Let's get him. And then we have none of this, unless you're drawing it out for some other reason where, like, he's also trying to get information or the suitcase or whatever the thing is. But that doesn't really kind of play out exactly.
You're right. I assumed that was all for a good reason, but I can't come up with one right now.
Maybe I need to watch it a third time to really just keep trying to piece everything together. But I think some of it, I'm just like, yeah, like this girl should have totally just like dropped her dad at home.
Yeah.
Get him at home.
I think she was doing a play though where it's not her. You know, it's not her. Her brother's dead. She's going to therefore inherit the crown of this crime syndicate. I think she's doing the mind play. I kind of respect that.
I don't know, but isn't it way more boss if you're like what is going to gather, really get some respect within the crime community? Okay. A girl that's like, I fucking killed my dad. You don't think I'm going to kill you?
Yeah.
I killed my dad.
Don't get me wrong. I think that the personal relationship makes it a little more badass. But I also think that's crime lord Nepo baby shit. You know? Like...
This is like, oh God, how unoriginal.
Like, of course you have access to him. You're his daughter. Like, if you had just, you know,
you're killing on easy mode. Like,
like the White Death shows up as a foreigner in a country where they do not trust him, works his way up the ladder, then assassinates that crime boss. She's born on third base. You know what I mean?
You are making an excellent point right now. Yes, of course.
Right?
No, you're making a great point.
Man, White Death is my dude. I'm rooting for him in this.
White Death is my dude. Although I think if your name is White Death and you die, that feels pretty self-fulfilling. Like, I'm like, that was probably on its way.
Death of the White Death. Yeah.
Yes. That sounds like it'd be coming full circle for your ass pretty fucking quick.
Yeah. Also, come on, man. You can't wear that. You can't wear that mask. That's definitely appropriation. What are we talking about?
You know what I loved? Even the smallest characters in this movie are villains. Like the guy that checks the tickets.
Oh yeah.
Just like low key, you know what I mean? Very low key villain, just like on it, doing his job, trying to stay on it. Like the woman that's like shushing them. Like it's just kind of like everybody that they come. Like I don't think there's a good person in this movie, which is what I actually really, really like about it.
Yeah, maybe the kid who got pushed off the roof, but we don't know. He could be a real jerk. Maybe Prince was like, how many times do I gotta tell you, get off of my roof, stop climbing up here and staring at me, you fucking weirdo.
Oh my God,
we don't know what he was doing on that roof. We don't know.
That's I would say that's one of the crazier takes you've had. I love that so much. You're like, what if this kid's a dick?
Yeah.
No, you don't know. You don't. We don't. He doesn't speak. We don't hear him do anything. Maybe he's all fucking.
He's comatose for most of it. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
and as we learned earlier in the episode, if you're not doing anything, you're of no use. Therefore, this child is a drain on society. No, I'm going to stop now.
I just love you. You just keep doubling down even further down the hole.
The views we are forced to make on this podcast do not necessarily.
Also, I feel like Brad Pitt's character is just like, he learns no lessons. He's like, I'm so unlucky. No, I don't. I know how to use the sleeping powder. Let me just fucking dump it again. Let me not follow any instructions or learn any lessons or do anything. Just keep complaining.
Yeah, he's not really changed at the end. Like, he doesn't...
Oh, no growth.
No growth whatsoever.
No growth.
Well, and again, I would go back to, I think Tangerine and Lemon are the main characters of this movie. To me, anyway. They're the people I want to see because there is growth at the end of that, right?
Tangerine, they love each other so much. It's so cute, and they're the twins.